I love the word impossible because I'm gonna make it possible.
Okay. I think if I would have written a book, you just read from my book what I feel is the way to do it.
Hell yeah. I find happiness to be just to be content with my daily life. It's the small things that actually make us the most happy, I believe. But my grandma had a great phrase, you can't earn all of the world's money.
That line from your grandma, I'm saving it. I'm saving it. You cannot earn all of the money's worth. Can't I? No, I'm kidding. Hello guys, welcome to Vulgar Conversations. Today, Annija Glaudāne is here. She's an actress, stunt woman, dancer. Now she's doing ballet again. She also is an acrobat. She is the full package. Great to have you here today. Thank you for coming. Let's share with the public your insights on life. She was one of the characters in the movie. She played Jenny, and she did an amazing job. Thank you for coming, first of all.
Thank you for inviting.
You have been in the sun because you have a pretty nice tan, I'm seeing.
I know, I just arrived from Croatia yesterday.
Oh, nice. How was it?
Very sunny.
Okay.
I thought I'd come to Latvia to cool off, and it's just as hot here.
Oh, yeah, but it's gonna be today only, so don't. I was today walking, I went for a walk outside, and I literally walked everywhere there was sun. If I would see a shadow, I would move to the right. I was I'm like, this is the last bits of sun, so I was trying to get in it. What have you been doing lately? How are you? Update me on everything.
I've been doing a lot of commercial work.
Okay.
I've been doing tech conferences going around the world in the filming industry.
Okay. Camera gear related.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I got back into ballet as well.
Okay. Into ballet.
Yes.
And what happened with the acrobatics and the dancing that you were doing before? Is taking a pause or?
Yeah, that's taking a pause. I got a bit back into ballet, modern ballet.
And where are you doing it? How is that?
My friend Eva texted me that they were looking for a girl in Gatsby Ballet, so I joined.
Okay.
I got accepted. Now I'm training for it.
Okay.
And we're going to do a tour around Europe.
And are you going to have any presentation here in Latvia that I can go and see you?
Unfortunately, this year they're not coming to Riga.
Okay.
But they're going to Vilnius and to Tallinn.
Okay.
So that's close enough.
And how is that preparation going? Is it?
A lot of material.
Okay.
Like, it's much more difficult than learning Swan Lake, because we all know it ever since we're like. But here it's like everything is fresh, everything is new, and their cast is very small. They only have 16 dancers in a corps de ballet.
Okay.
And a few soloists. It's a 20 dancer company.
Okay.
So you're on stage almost all of the time.
Yikes. I cannot imagine dancing it just has to be physically crazy, taxing, yeah?
Well, yeah, you have rehearsals, and then every night you're performing, it's 2 hours of almost non-stop dancing.
Jesus Christ. Well, but I'm going to tell you, as an audience, when I'm watching those kind of performances, I love it. So I think it's worth it. See, how about acting? Are you doing any, aside from your commercial, you're like the lady of all the new brands that are coming, how's it called? Camera gear related. But have you been doing something else in Latvia? Did something happen this summer?
Not happened.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
My name is still not out there in the acting industry too much, but I'm working towards it,
Yeah.
little by little.
No, little by little, and they're gonna love you here. You have one of the funniest moments in the movies, those moments that you are just. I laugh too much. I don't know how people are gonna react, but I love it. You did a character that was kind of tricky because you had some spicy scenes, but they're very necessary. Like now that and they're very cute. Like that's one of the things that I didn't realize. Well, I always had in mind because the scene has a cute element to it, yeah? But then, like, now that I have seen it done, I'm like, this is how this is supposed to be. How was the experience of the shooting for you?
I mean, it was really fun. Like, the technical part of it was very well done. I loved the crew, and they were also fun to talk to, which I know a lot of people usually, like, underrate and kind of put them under the carpet, that they don't even talk about the fact that the production doesn't involve just actors and the director.
Yeah.
But the crew itself was really amazing, and made friends with them.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a pleasurable experience.
Compared to all the things that you have done, because I want to understand myself, like did it feel very different? Did it feel like normal? How did it feel?
Actually, to some point, it felt better organized than some other productions that I've been a part of, because usually, like, okay, mostly like small parts, like being an extra or a little bit above that.
Yeah.
It's chaos for most of the movies.
Yeah.
It is quite chaotic to organize it, but when you have to organize large groups of people, you know, it can get very messy very quickly.
For sure.
But it was pretty well organized, even though you were in tight space, but everything was taken care of. There was food, there was drinks, it was like a little party.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like those days, like for me, because you were the day that the guy did the dance. I remember being in the monitor, hiding behind the chair. I felt I got so much respect for that dancer. Because, you know, we have been shooting all day. He's just sitting in the kitchen, getting ready, not talking in his zone and whatever. But the moment that he has to perform, I felt like like a child, like oh my God, the guy's a uber pro. I didn't understand, and he looks like $1 billion in the movie. So I agree with you. Like that, it was challenging that the space was small. We were so many people, but props to the production that did such an amazing job there somewhere there.
They did.
Yeah, it was impressive. How did it feel to work with because you have some scenes with Gabo? How did you feel working with somebody from outside?
That was really fun. I feel like we clicked really well together.
Yeah.
And it was very easy. Like it felt really natural.
Okay.
Like I didn't even have to put an act on. It felt like it was a natural kind of an act together, and we could have fun with it.
Okay.
And obviously the part in the room was very funny.
Every
single time we finish, we're like, how much longer do we have to do these noises? And then we both laugh it off. So that was really funny.
No, I love that sequences. And I agree with what you, like in the camera, you two had like this kind of like, cute chemistry moment that it was very, very nice. You had worked with Katrina before? No, that was the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But we made good friends as well.
No, yeah, no, for sure. Also, there was, that day was also Emma, because I know her because of you also. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'm glad that worked out, that I gave you a name and I've seen you work with her a couple of times.
Yes. And she has some kind of like, you know, when we had to put the actors, it's like, okay, which type of friends would the character have? And I was like 1000% they would be friends in my head. And in my head, what ended up being cool after, it was kind of like those kind of things that when you pay attention, you're like, the energy was kind of there. Like Gaile, because you're all supposed to know Gaile and you're all supposed to be very good friends, yeah? But Gaile, you and Emma are dancers and ballet dancers.
Yeah.
I remember being on the set and thinking, oof, this is something I would have loved to write on the story somehow, because it would have added a new dimension. But of course, that would have been a completely different movie.
For next time.
Yeah. That was what I thought at that moment. It's like, oh, I have to pay attention to this because this is very odd to have that.
Maybe you just like ballet dancers.
Well, who's not gonna like them? Well, there's of course I like them, but everybody should. How did you start it? Tell me a little bit. How did you start it with the acrobatics, the ballet, the acting, everything?
I actually have a very upside down story for
that.
So I started as a rhythmic gymnast when I was really small.
Okay.
I was 8. And I finished Jurmala Sports School.
Okay.
And then at 13 I moved to Ireland. That's where I grew up for most of the years.
Okay.
In Ireland I started freestyle disco jazz, which is this acrobatic dance style where we did competitions. Fun fact is I became multiple times world champion of it.
I've seen your like in your house
a few of them are left. We counted at some point. Me and my sister had over 200 of them.
Damn.
We left them in our all rented house in the attic for the next people to be surprised.
Okay.
And then I finished secondary school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got into university to study forensic chemistry, but...
Why? How is that? How is this leading to forensic chemistry?
I never thought I'd be a dancer.
You were already a dancer.
I really loved the episodes like Bones and NCIS and all of that. So I was like, I want to do that. I loved always the weird person who's like taking care of the body. So I was like, I could do that.
Okay.
And yeah, but the whole vibe of going to like university just felt off. Like I couldn't put my finger on it, but it just didn't feel like the right direction. And then I skipped a year. I just kept doing freestyle and working. And after a year, I was like, I should try out dance college. That could be fun because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And in dance college, I started ballet because it was part of the curriculum. And my teacher was Jill Dalton and her son Richard Dalton.
Okay.
And they made me fall in love with it because they weren't like the boring ballet teachers who are like, do this, do that, do correct. But they had a fire because like they do Cuban style ballet because there's different styles of ballet, by the way. And they were very passionate. They allowed you to ask questions. And it was actually fun to learn with them.
And where was this?
In Ireland.
In Ireland, okay.
Yeah, so in the end, it turned out I was 19 when I started ballet. And they took me to a competition. Then that got me into Barcelona City Ballet. And that's when I decided, I was like, I want ballet as a job.
Okay.
Which, of course, when you start at 19, you know, people do look at you as if you're insane. Like, that's impossible.
Because it's too old, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Way too old. Yeah. They usually start at 10 max. I love the word impossible because I'm going to make it possible.
Okay.
And I made it possible.
And how did you came back to Latvia? How was that?
I decided to buy a one-way ticket to Latvia. I never expected to stay there or live there. I just wanted to check out what my home country is like, get to know it. And in the first job that I got in a cafe, my colleague was a ballet dancer. And I was like, what a coincidence.
Okay.
And she gave me a number of one person who could look at me to get into the Riga Ballet School. And they took me. Which I thought was hilarious because usually the ages that people go to that school is between 10 and 18.
Oh, wow.
So I was like way too old. I was 21 already.
Okay.
And by miracle, they took me on. And I was like, I guess I could spend 3 years in Latvia and then go abroad. But something keeps dragging me back here. I just fell in love with the country. I fell in love with the fact that I can talk in my language. Yeah. We have traditions and cultures that are like different than the rest of the world that like subconsciously from my youth was still there, but now they're resurfacing and like a lot of it makes sense why I feel this way when I'm abroad, why I feel that way, why I interact with people in a certain way. Okay. Like tracking back to my childhood here in Latvia, it all makes sense and it makes me fall in love with Latvia even more.
Well, I'm in love with Latvia too, so. How did you went into acting?
My boyfriend, Gundars.
Yes.
We became friends. He first shot dance videos and I was a dancer. We actually met in one of the bars that I was working at. Okay. Because I just talked to him. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Because he's coming with a laptop to a bar to work. And I was like, what? That's
a good trick, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, and then he was like, oh, I sometimes shoot dance videos because he used to do breakdancing. So we shot a few videos, I got to know other people, and then eventually he got better at videos and he started to do commercials. He asked me to do one commercial. I was like, I did it. I like this. I like acting. And then slowly, I tried to find agencies. I'm part of a couple agencies now here in Latvia, and it's just slowly growing. Done a few workshops. I did a stunt workshop as well, because like that's my next goal. Yeah. Get into an action movie. I want to be a ninja.
And jump out of a building with a
jump out of a plane.
Like I remember I have this funny story that, well, you know, when Vadim Saikovsky, the producer friend of mine, calls me, this was pre-COVID, he calls me, man, I need you to play a character on this movie. And I go to a thing and he's like, but you need to speak German. He gives me the lines, says, learn this. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn it, whatever. I go with my broken German and I go to a shoot. I have no idea about the shoot. And it was kind of like, it wasn't an extra, but it was almost an extra. They basically didn't have people that would look that they're foreigner. It was an international production. But I was in a shot, and the main thing is that I had to ask for coffee. I'm like a construction worker, and I'm asking for coffee. And they're shooting in Latvia, but it's supposed to be, how's it called, Germany. That's why I needed to be speak German. I am with another construction worker, and we go to ask for coffee to a guy that has like a coffee place outside. When we get to the shoot, the main shot is with both of us. It's kind of like a mid close-up, and we are like, yeah, give me a coffee and talking. And the camera pulls back, and you see in the back there's a building. And from that building, it's an action sequence. It's like 3 spy agents kind of fighting with a gun, and they jump out of the building with a rope, shooting themselves and killing and whatever. When I get to the thing, I'm gonna play a normal guy that is gonna, I have no idea that all these stunts are happening behind us, yeah? We're gonna do the scene, and the other guy that was with me in the scene was very nervous. And at some moment, the guy couldn't do it because he would shake when he would get the coffee like this. And it was a very tight shot, so it was very obvious that the guy's doing this. And I think, or they took him out or they flipped him.
Why was he nervous? He wasn't the one jumping.
Because to be fair, when you realize that you have to say this and that there's people jumping there, and if you do it bad, they're gonna have to jump again. I got very nervous. The thing is, like, I was chilled. I was like, oh, blah, blah, whatever, like saying in my broken German. It was very funny to see somebody struggle to get coffee and people in the back jumping out of a building. It was, I don't know, it was like 30 or 20 story building in the one that is in Skanstes. And it was a girl and 2 guys, something like that, jumping out of it. I felt it was insane. I was like, who does this? Why?
It sounds fun to me.
For sure.
Sign me up.
For sure, because you're a stunt woman, but I could never do that. I would be like when I see what Tom Cruise does, that.
Oh, I adore Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no, that's next level. I'm like, sign me up for a stunt double. Listen, one time, I don't remember what it was, we needed to shoot something and there was the possibility of getting on a helicopter to do the shoot. And I'm like, I'm never getting on that helicopter, forget about it. Like, I would never do it. I'm a little bit afraid of heights. Although I've been working on it, maybe something's gonna change, we'll see, but yeah. The movie industry at this moment, what are your thoughts about movies recently? Have you gone to the cinemas recently? When was the last time that you were in the cinemas?
You're not gonna like the answer?
No, I'm trust me, I'm pretty close to what I have been to.
Last year I went once.
Last year, what did you went to see?
The Oppenheimer.
The Oppenheimer movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hadn't been, I think, in the movies. No, I did see Dune 2 early this year.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that because I hadn't seen Dune 1. That's why I didn't feel like I had the right to go see Dune 2.
Yes, watch the 1 first.
I did. It was amazing.
Yeah, the 2 is not that. It's not bad, but it's not that good.
Not that good?
No, it's very predictable. Like, of course, it's stunning.
But that's a lot these days. First of all, most of the movies are getting remade of old movies, like remakes, and most of them have the same plot. It's kind of like they ran out of creative writers because they don't realize that it's not about the money and your budget and what good actors you hire. It's also the most important thing is get a good writer.
For sure, I agree. And I also believe the acting is not that good. Like, I don't think there's that many good actors anymore.
Yeah, these days it's all about what you look like. There was one agency I went to and I was like, hey, like, I would love to get more serious roles, and you keep calling me just about these small, tiny roles, which I really appreciate, but I'd love to do something better. And basically, she told me, which kind of offended me a bit, she was like, they mostly just look at what you look like in the profile picture. They don't care what you do.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
But it depends on who you're working with, like, meaning of, like, if a person don't value a great performance, then they just want to have models in front of the camera. I also feel they care too much about how many followers you have.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I feel it's kind of. But I agree with you. Movies are very predictable. Let's see if you can predict mine. You kind of know the story, but still, I feel I had that very clear in my head while I was writing and making the movie. That that one of the big problems that I have is that I just get ahead of all the movies. Right now, I see something, I know how it's gonna end. Of course, the great ones still do it great, and I'm kind of like, where is this even going? But a lot of it is just remade. That's more of the same. So, how about Latvian movies? Have you been watching, even if it's home, Latvian movies or Latvian productions?
Especially the ones that I'm a part of. I'm like, no.
For you it's hard to see yourself in the.
Yeah, because I don't know, Latvian movies, they're kind of like, they're missing a great colorist.
Okay.
Which you have. So one thing that I can predict about your movie is that the colors are going to be great. And a lot of them look like they've been, I think they're trying to make it look as if they were shot in film.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of grayish, the colors are not very well done, and the story plot, like, most of the time you look at the story of the lines you have to do and it's not even translated properly from Lithuania because they just buy off Lithuanian movies and just remake them. Maybe we should make something else and not only drama, because they just have like relationship dramas and girl dramas. There isn't anything with like a deeper meaning in Latvian industry.
Okay.
I haven't seen movies. I know Pūtveņš vai Deseļu putenis or what it was called. I haven't had the
Blizzard of
opportunity.
Souls.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah.
I heard that one is great, but...
It's the biggest movie in
And
Latvia.
another one I've seen is Svešais, which is 1988, I believe, because my dad was the lead actor there
Okay.
when he was 13.
13?
He was 13.
Wow.
Yeah. He just got picked up from his classroom by a producer.
Oh, wow.
But that was a good movie. It also had like a deeper meaning, and there was like this whole dramatic variable of it.
Okay.
That was a good plot.
And where did you, like, if I want to see that movie, where can I see it?
I once watched it online, but they have removed it because now they're putting them part of this historic archive in the National Library, and it's difficult to get to it.
And can I go and see them on the National Library?
I have no idea. I tried to find it so I can get a copy of it, but I think it's just pay-per-view kind of a situation.
Okay.
Not sure.
Okay. One question, you have been around a lot, also internationally, working a lot. What are the things that you feel in Latvia are the biggest talents, the biggest things that we could export, show to the world? What biggest strengths from the artistic, work-related perspective?
The thing is, Latvia has a lot of talented people, but the biggest problem is there's not enough job opportunities. So a lot of them feel pressure to leave and make their life somewhere else, which usually when you see a lot of Latvians that go abroad, they make a really good job. Yeah. Like even now, like, of course we made the jeans and we reinvented Pringles and all this other stuff. Yeah. But now the biggest one like is Pasha. He's won parkours by Red Bull. Okay. He went to America. He made it really big. Like I feel like Latvians always make it big once they leave Latvia. Yeah. And it's sad because you can't. Everyone's always talking about raising standards here, but when someone is raising standards, if they feel pressure to leave because they can't make a living, then how can you actually raise the standards? So I feel like our job is to kind of like keep the people that are good here in Latvia and give job opportunities to them. Okay. Like I'm always brainstorming, and my goal is to create another dance theater, so opera wouldn't be the only option for a full-time dance job. Okay. Because there's so many other dancers that just, they work project to project, and you can never actually like live properly off of that. You always have to either teach or do something else. And as a dancer, when you're teaching, you're kind of losing out on your own training and your own perspectives. We just need more jobs for artists.
No, I agree.
But it's also, obviously, the issue is also like we then need to make content in English because, you know, our population is very tiny. So also consumer aspect of it is much smaller if you make it in Latvian. Yeah. It's just like, it is what it is. It's understandable. Maybe we can make Latvian movies with subtitles and then sell it abroad because it's getting more popular on Netflix as well. But there's even Polish movies, German movies, Spanish movies. They're getting popular with subtitles. Even Korean movies are getting popular here in Europe. Like, so I believe Latvians should also start making like movies either for Netflix to popularize our content and create more opportunities here.
Well, our movies, I would say between 30 or 40%, 35%, let's say, in Latvian. The rest is in English, but it was relevant to the story, you know, like it made no sense that I would make it all in English because there's Latvian people, they speak in Latvian. But if I would have to make a thing completely in Latvian, it would be interesting, I don't know. Like that it would be 70-30. I would do it, but then comes the problem of the
monetization.
Of the monetization, because I'm very aware of that. Like, you know, it's a very small country and you're not gonna make enough money out of it's a very expensive business, so
so you have to make at least money back. But there's a lot of Latvians in like the States and Canada and other things. We just have to like get the movies out to them. I'm pretty sure they don't even realize what's going on in Latvia at this point, that they speak Latvian, they'd understand it.
No, but I think it still needs to be bigger, because I think all over the world are around 2 million people. So 2 million Latvians.
I'd say more.
Yeah.
Much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But how many much more?
I'd say it could be 4.
Could be 4. Still, it's too small. Like it's because you make something in English and then you have, only in America it's 350 million. That's like, so that's the challenge, because I see it with my, I come from Venezuela. We speak Spanish there, and we just have so much more market. And one of the conversations that I have with the locals here is like, our quality in Latin America is way lower, also because we just have more people, and we don't have to be perfect to go selling. You just gotta. There's always somebody that can sell in whatever state, and I think Latvians stop themselves because they want to get to the here instead of going little by little.
Perfectionist syndrome, yeah.
So I feel it's just better to start wherever you can and little by little grow it. Okay, let's get into some of the questions that are related to the movie. What would you advise to somebody that haven't found their passion in life? How did it work for you? How did you do it? Share some wisdom.
First of all, you have to try a lot of different things, as many as you can get your hands upon.
Okay.
There's so many like sports, different types of dancing, different types of acting, different types of singing, like different types of musical instruments, different types of like filming movies and shorts and commercials or whatever. And there's so much to do in life. Like you have to find something that you're passionate about. And if you keep searching, you're gonna find something that's gonna click. Like my friend just became a ceramicist. That happened by accident. She was first learning about Korean culture or Japanese. Yeah, okay. She was learning Japanese, and then by her master's, she ended up being in ceramics, and now she owns her own art gallery in rowing, and she's so happy about it. It's just trying out different things. You're gonna find something that you're gonna like.
And then you commit to it once you find it.
Okay. Yes. Because once you commit to it, the thing is, you're gonna have your ups and downs. Same as in regular life, you have ups and downs.
Yeah.
But you have to find something that you're passionate about enough to go through the downs and still pursue it and still keep persisting it.
I think if I would have written a book, you just read from my book what I feel is the way to do it.
Hell yeah.
We can't agree more in that one. Let's get a little bit into another topic of the movie, that is self-discovery. What would you say is the key for happiness or true happiness? What are your processes? What are your tips?
The key to happiness is not to expect to feel super excited and happy all the time. That's not what happiness is.
Okay.
I find happiness to be just to be content with my daily life, because even if you do exciting jobs, your daily life isn't going to all the time be exciting and give you the dopamine that you think you need.
Okay.
So you have to find the balance between everything and do the small things. It's the small things that actually make us the most happy, I believe. Like for example, if you really like coffee and you like to go down and get that espresso macchiato in the morning, if that brings you a bit of happiness and a joy, then do that.
Okay.
Doing something for your loved one daily, just little routines. And happiness is something that also you have to go out of your way to sometimes do things for yourself and for others. Yeah. Instead of waiting for it to just happen. Because happiness to me, it's not an emotion, it's what you do. You make your daily life to be satisfying, and then you're happy.
I also feel that, to add to your conversation, because I think you're 100% spot on, that if there's something that is bringing too much drama, salt, unhappiness in your life, no matter how good is the outcome, like for example, if you have to sacrifice a lot of from yourself to make a lot of money, then those are things that you have to take away. Yeah. I do feel that happiness is a little bit of a careful balance between doing the things that make you happy, but also staying away from things that make you miserable. And then the expectations need to be real. Yeah, you cannot expect to be all the time on a high.
Exactly. My grandma had a great phrase when I was, for example, overworking myself at jobs. She was like, you can't earn all of the world's money. You have to take time off, and it's not going to change much. Those
Okay.
50 euros here and there is not going to change much in your life if you need a day off to actually rest your body, your brain, and then you're going to feel more energized to attack life again.
Okay.
So people always need to find ways to rest. And rest, for a lot of people, for some reason, they think just laying in bed and having a day off is just do nothing and you're going to be rested. Very often rest actually is just doing other activities that you wouldn't do in a daily life.
Yeah.
You have to actually keep your brain active, keep yourself motivated to do something. Go out of your way, I don't know, go play pool with friends or bowling or do some kind of activities. Because you also have to keep your body active.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're just gonna act sluggish all the time, that's not gonna. You're gonna feel even more tired after.
Yeah.
You think you're resting, but you're actually making yourself more tired.
That line from your grandma, I'm saving it. I'm saving it. You cannot earn all of the money's world. Can't I? No, I'm kidding. No, it's true. It's true. No, it's
Maybe if you're Jeff Bezos, but he still doesn't have all of the world's money, because we have some as well.
Yeah, we do. He better watch out, because I might take too much out of him. Would you have, like, or do you have, like, an idea of, like, how does the perfect life looks for you?
There is no such thing as perfection.
Okay.
I finally got rid of that. I used to be a perfectionist when I was younger. Like, I would even, like, when my mom did my hair for gymnastics, and when I started learning it, if I have one little bump, I'd go mental. I'd go crazy.
Okay.
It wasn't possible. I needed to be perfect. But once you let that go, you realize that your life keeps changing and evolving. There's no perfect system. It doesn't exist, because you might like something today and tomorrow your views might change. So you keep evolving, and like every stage of life is beautiful. It's like you're young, then you're searching for yourself, then you find yourself, then you find a partner, then you have a family, and kids change our rhythm a lot as well, which I'm looking forward, because that's going to be a new journey. Like that now, for example, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like to have a family. But when I have that, that's going to change a lot of my priorities as well.
Yeah.
So, and then when your children grow up, you get old, then once again, you have to find yourself, because you're not as young. For example, you can't move your body as well, so you have to find new activities. And so life keeps changing, so there's no perfect life.
So would you say that just being open for every stage, like the flexibility of finding step by step? I agree. Like, my life has changed so many times, so drastically. And even this sounds funny, but you know, we started doing the pod, like, I don't know, 2 months ago or something like that. I don't even remember. It feels like it was in my past life. Was it like in my past life I was somebody different?
Even yesterday is your past life.
Yep. No, but this, you know, there are moments that it's just, I feel when my life dramatically changes, what I see is that my day to day looks completely different than what it used to look. Yeah. So before,
every 5 years you're a new human being.
Yes, and that is something that I feel is key, to be open to. Okay, there's gonna be changes. It's gonna be challenging at the beginning, because when you get into this new path, you're like kind of all over the place, like, you know, like a little deer with the baby deer that can barely walk. But it is key to moving forward and feeling fresh and feeling alive, because these kind of things, like this conversation, have made me. Now I'm seeing the place completely different. I'm meeting so many people from here. I'm listening so many stories from all of you guys, like yours. I didn't know that it was so, like, I went out, came back, like I had no idea. So, but now I know, and all these conversations help me to understand a little bit better. And it's exciting, to be fair.
I even look at old interviews. Like, I had an interview a couple of years back about my ballet journey, and I rewatch it and I'm like, oh God, it was so terrible. Because at the time I was in quite a depressive state.
Okay.
Because ballet school was a bit of a struggle. I got over that, of course, but back then I can even, like, when I'm seeing what I'm talking about is completely different, because I had different perspective on life and I was concentrating on different things.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking about completely different subjects, and the direction of the conversation is going completely different. And even when I did a podcast after my Dubai experience with Eva, that was also a very different conversation. So even with each interview that you look back in the past, you're like, oh, what was I talking about?
Okay. What would you think is the most common misconception about love in society, or let's localize it in Latvia?
It was one of the first reasons that you mentioned. Like, I'm a strong believer in that, and you literally, like, it was kind of like you're talking my words when love is an action, not a feeling.
Okay.
Everyone's confusing lust and love these days. And I
Okay.
learned that a couple of years ago, and I was like, because
Okay.
everyone's kind of like searching for this one person that's going to swipe them off your feet, and you're going to be like in Disney movie and like go off with a prince on a white horse and live happily ever after. But no, it's constant work, and it's not like work as if you're doing a job. It's just doing little things for each other and learning how to love the other person, and them learning how to love you back, and communication and how you communicate with each other, how you resolve issues. That keeps evolving, and you have to learn how to resolve them efficiently. Now I'm in a relationship for 2.5 years, and it just keeps getting better and growing, and we learn how to love each other even better. And I love that even these little things when I go home, for example, I get him 2 beers, a salty and silkies.
Okay.
And he's so happy. He's like, I was going to tell you to get me that. I was like, I know.
That's cute. That's cute. You also work with him, so you're part of, like me, of that club that say you should work with your partner. What are your thoughts on it?
No, yeah, I agree to some degree.
Okay.
Because you also definitely need to have activities that are separate from each other.
Okay.
Because you have to learn how to be, you have to still be your own person
Yeah.
as well. But working together obviously makes us click in a different way. Like, it brings us closer, it makes us understand each other even better. And we enjoy working together because also we get to spend more time than, for example, 2 people who are doing completely different jobs and only meet in the evenings when they're tired and they've overworked already.
Yeah. How good can
That's
that be?
very, how can you make a connection there? Because you're both tired all the time when you see each other because you've been working and everything else. So it's great to work together because you know your partner completely differently and closer, and you get to spend time together even if it's a work environment.
Yeah.
But of course in a work environment we do try our best to keep it professional even around other people, because when we're working there's no uchi puchi hanky panky anything like that. No, in a work environment you're working, and then when you finish working then you're back to being a couple.
Yeah. Good. Betrayal in relationships. Do you feel it's more normalized now than before? What have you been hearing about it? How do you feel about it? What have you experienced it in past relationships? How has that been? What is
I did experience betrayal in my last relationship because he eventually liked other girls, and over time he told me, and it was obviously heartbreaking because I feel like he could have told me sooner, but he said he didn't know how to tell me. That's why he kept so long. But it happens. We can't really make our hearts feel something if we don't. That's why you have to find a person. For example, I have my person, I know he's not going to betray me because we have built our connection and we've worked on it for a long time. But I think movies are normalizing that a lot. And I actually, now that I'm in like a very healthy relationship, and it's so much different than all the dramatic kind of things that happen these days. Now I'm watching a lot of other movies that I've seen before, and I realized that not a lot of movies are actually showing what true love is. A lot of them are not very compatible. So yeah, it's interesting. But then again, why would you make a movie about a happy relationship? Because
there's no drama.
There's no drama. There's nothing to watch. What are you gonna watch? Like, that's lovely. For 2 hours. Like, there's no story there.
So you feel it's being normalized more?
In some degrees, yeah. But for example, around my friend circle, most of us are in happy, functional relationships. So it's kind of like I don't see it in my friend circle at all. So around me, that doesn't really happen. But when I hear stories, obviously it happens to some other people all the time. But you always have to surround yourself with what you want to be and how you want to grow. So I try my best to always surround myself with people who are also passionate about life, ambitious, in good relationships, have the same kind of mentality that I have. And then we're all growing together. And most of us, when we meet, we don't, like sometimes when I meet like old classmates or some person that I knew many years ago, and they start complaining, oh, life sucks, there's this, there's that. I'm like, you're making it like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to you to change it.
Yeah.
And around my friends, every time we meet each other, we're excited to share our lives because so much has happened and we've grown and we've done other things and we got new hobbies or something.
Yeah.
And I don't really hear bad stories much from my friends. Obviously, you have your occasional problems and things like that, and you can rant about them a little bit. But for the most part, usually it's a very positive experience because we just make sure we keep growing and acquiring new skills, new experiences in life, and new people.
Yeah. I feel you have a very hopeful view of life and the way you approach it.
Someone has to have hope.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Okay, so here is the trailer that's gonna be released on the 13th of the movie Vulgar that we did. You're part of it, and I don't even know if you're in the trailer because you're one of the good surprises of the trailer. But see the trailer of the movie, not of the trailer, but of the movie. So yeah, hit play. You know how to do this. Yeah.
Esmu visu nakti plānojis. Tā būs pat labākā balīte. Es nevaru sagaidīt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was coming in tomorrow.
I'm Simon.
Do you know it's not appropriate for a married woman to hang out with other men?
I would never go out with you.
It's proven that human beings are not supposed to consume dairy.
If you will taste it, you know that's not true.
The more you deny the sure I'll be just like me. The more you deny the sure I'll be just like me.
Are you having an orgasm already?
The real question is, do you love diaries?
Of course I do. Well, then that's it.
Yes, I'm vulgar for sure.
Tu neesi aizmirsusi man kaut ko pastāstīt?
So that's the trailer. So yes.
I love Gavo's face expressions.
Yeah, it's too good. That scene that is there is just too funny. Like I love.
And I can't. Kat is like one of those women who I might have a girl crush on.
Well, but it makes sense because she looks very, very, very good in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so Annija, I know that we have to wrap it up because we have time constraints. Thank you for coming. It was a very nice talk and very loose talk. I didn't even feel that we had questions and things to address. We were just talking about the things. I love everything you did in the movie. I love your performance. I love everything. I hope that you're gonna love it as much as I do. I know it is hard. I know it's hard to see yourself in the thing, but yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for the conversation, for your insights. And I want to invite everybody to check what she does. She's a dancer, a stunt coordinator, a stunt woman, and an acrobat also. I've seen stuff that she does. She's also an actress. She reviews gears, does commercials. She does everything, and she's very good at it. Thank you for coming, Annija. Bye, guys.